Castillo's got, what, 300,000 troops? I count 6 burnt-out guerrillas, and you with a bullet to the leg.
Greetings, Far Cry fans. It is I, Ian Higton, and I'm once again back on my Far Cry theory bullcrap. Today I'm going to try to pinpoint the locations of some of the main events that feature in Far Cry 6's trailers on this here map of Yara, which is going to be a bit hard for a couple of reasons. One, we don't really have a proper Far Cry 6 map yet, and this one here is all blurry and stuff. And two, the footage in these trailers often moves very fast and happens from a lot of different angles. But still, using the power of my tiny brain, I have managed to find what I think is where some of the big early game incidents happen. So strap in and enjoy the ride, folks, because we're about to do one of the deepest deep dives that has ever been deeply dove into before. Let's kick things off with the Meet the Villain Anton cinematic trailer, as this one features just one long cutscene rather than any gameplay. There's only 2 real locations here, one on the San Judas escape boat, which I'm presuming is on its way to America at this point, and the second is on some kind of industrial dockyard, which we can see right at the start of the trailer. Due to the fact that both Danny and Diego are here, and they both start the game in Esperanza, it's probably safe to assume that this dock area is somewhere in either the north or the east of the city. You know, where the land meets the sea, because of course boats work better on the sea than on the land. Now, there are some place names on this map of Esperanza in these areas, but I don't think they give us any clues. I'm pretty sure this one here says Hotel Paraíso or Hotel Paradise in English, but the letters for this one are so blurry I can't work out what they actually say. But if we take a look at a map of real-life Havana, which the city of Esperanza is clearly based on, we can see that there are a number of docks and piers running along this edge here. We can also just about make out a couple of similar dock-like shapes on the in-game map right here. So my guess is that it is from this approximate location that Danny will make her initial escape from Yara's capital city at the beginning of the game. Next up, we're going into the very first Far Cry 6 trailer ever released, the Far Cry 6 World Premiere trailer. Now, this one kicks off with Diego Castillo building a model car in a very opulent room. The plush interior of this building suggests it may be some kind of palace, but it's definitely not Torre del Leon, aka Lion Tower, which I'm assuming will be Anton Castillo's main base. There's a few reasons why this can't be Lion Tower. Firstly, Lion Tower seems to be brand new and the interior here is really old. Secondly, we do actually see the interior of Lion Tower later on, and this isn't it, but more on that later. And thirdly, on the following exterior shots, we can see that not only are Anton and Diego not that high up on this rooftop, but also you can clearly see Lion Tower in the background there. If anything, I'd say that this building is likely to be the office of the Department of Defense, which you can see in this quick clip here from the worldwide gameplay reveal. But what else can we see here to help us pinpoint the location of things? Well, the fact that we can see the sea and that there's no discernible land masses in the distance tells us that Lion Tower is north of this building and that this building is facing north. There's also a selection of quite unique buildings on the horizon, such as this dome, what looks like a cathedral here, and a large number of what I presume are residential tower blocks. But as we don't know how heavily this shot is screwing with the perspective, or if this early render of the city is even in-game accurate by now, it's hard to judge where these buildings may actually be placed on the map. Lion Tower looks especially small here, so I guess this building they're stood on right now must be in the southern part of Esperanza, with Lion Tower closer to the coastline. But as you can see on this shot, which I think is looking west across the northern coast of Esperanza, there's no sign of the tower by this part of the coast at all. What I do think is that this building here is the Hotel Paraíso that I mentioned earlier, so that means to get this view, Danny must be standing atop this building, which you can see in this blink and you'll miss it shot from the Introducing Danny Rojas trailer. And it's in the Introducing Danny Rojas trailer that we get a quick glimpse of the interior of Lion Tower, and it happens right at the start when Anton is being interviewed about Libertad's guerrillas. We can tell from the triangular windows in the background there that this room is one of the top floors of Lion Tower, and therefore it is likely to be Anton's main office. Due to the height of this building, we can mainly only see the sea out of the windows, but this shot here shows a large mountain range behind the presenter, so I think that this window is probably facing west towards Aguas Lindas and Lozania. That would mean that this window behind Anton is likely looking out to the north of Esperanza, possibly at one of these little islands just off the coast. So perhaps the best bet then is that the tower is smack bang in the centre of this portion of the city? Just to back up that theory a little more, that earlier shot from the Danny trailer, which has to have been filmed from the Northern Sea looking south into Esperanza, clearly shows Lion Tower right in the middle there, with Hotel Paraíso on the right-hand side of the screen. And then if we compare it with this shot from the start of the Danny trailer, where the camera is positioned to the right of Hotel Paraíso with its back to the sea, we can then surmise that this view is looking southeast across the map towards the tower. So my hypothesized location fits pretty well. The next couple of shots in the Danny Rojas trailer show Danny driving along a road. As this is a trailer, there's a very high chance that a lot of these driving shots are taken from different locations and then stitched together. Thankfully, in this shot, we do, however, get to see the name of the town that Danny is entering, and it's called Conception. Conception can be found right here on the very eastern side of the map, and we can tell from the water on the left-hand side of the shot here that Danny must be entering Conception from the west-hand side, having first driven down south along this road. Now, the narrative built by the editing of this trailer seems to suggest that Danny is driving this way in order to visit the game's as yet unnamed mechanic, who will be responsible for setting you up with a bunch of cool guerrilla rides.
Okay.
As you can see in these two shots, Danny passes a sign for an automotive services business as she's driving along, so this could mean that you'll need to drive through Conception in order to reach the mechanic as part of one of your early quests. This little side road on the map here just out of Conception seems like it might be a pretty good position for this mechanic to be based, if that's right. It's a short dirt road off the main road and it's by the coast. As you can see from this B-roll footage, the garage is indeed set at the end of a dirt road, which, judging by the perimeter wall, could indeed be just off the main road coming out of Conception. Also, in this quick clip from the Danny trailer, the left-hand side of the shot, which would be facing out to the coast if this theory is true, does feature a completely clear sky, so the lack of mountains or buildings seems to add weight to this assumption. Oh, and just to circle back to that B-roll footage again, this beautiful mural on the wall, the Spanish sign that asks you to beware of the dog, and the fact that we see chorizo here basically confirms that meeting this mechanic will also unlock chorizo for us as an amigo. The next location that I'm going to try to pinpoint is Libertad's base of operations. In previous videos, I've theorised that this will be located on this small island here, which is called Isla Santuario, and that this will act as the game's tutorial island, where we will learn all the basics of the gameplay. Nothing in any of these trailers has changed my mind about this, but even then, it is quite hard to pinpoint an exact location for this base. In this wide shot here, we can see that the base is next to the water, and then in this closer shot here, we can see that it's pretty much open sea out there, so it's not massively close to any large islands, so that means potentially the south, west or east coast of Isla Santuario. But how can we narrow that down? Well, in this aerial shot of the island, there's no sign of any settlements that look like the guerrilla base on the west or southern coasts, so that kind of rules them out. But unfortunately, the east coast is very distant and the shoreline is obscured by trees and hills. In this shot where Danny and Clara look at the map though, we can see that there is a shoreline stretching upwards into the shot, and that right at the back here are some huge mountains. I think those huge mountains are the Costa del Mar mountain range, which we get a few good looks at throughout the trailers, and if I'm correct, a straight view of that would line up pretty well with this coastline here. So, if I were a betting man, that's where I would place my money.
Guapo, you listen. Rule 16. A guerrillero's revolution never ends. Always another war, another cantina, another ugly bartender.
Next up is the location of Yara's resident spymaster, Juan Cortez, or at least his location when you first meet him, that is. In the rules of the guerrilla trailer, right at the start as we're introduced to Juan, we can see he's sitting at the El Bar chatting to Guapo, one of the game's amigos. Thanks to the size of this building and the view of the enclosed bay in the background, it's pretty easy to find this area on this aerial view of Isla Santuario. It's right there, and there's also quite a sizable village behind it too. While this is probably where we have to go to meet Juan originally, I am, however, not convinced that this is where he'll build and provide you with his legendary Supremo backpacks. These shots from the Resolver trailer and from the B-roll seem to show what is likely to be Juan's central workshop. The fact that there are Supremo parts lying around everywhere and an ashtray full of cigars pretty much seals the deal for me. Unfortunately though, there aren't any wide shots that allow us to fully establish a proper location, but as this is a Far Cry game, it's likely that we'll meet Juan at the El Bar, get in a car with him and take him on a short exposition-filled car ride to wherever his base of operations is, so it should be relatively close to the bar. This is a complete guess based on that theory, but perhaps this is the location of his workshop? It seems like the right kind of distance for a nice little scenic drive, and there aren't too many other built-up areas in view in this shot. But honestly, I'm not super confident with this one, as it could be anywhere on this island where there are trees. So we've established the first few main areas of the game, but with so much footage in all of these trailers, what other locations can we spot? Well, this weird castle thingy can be seen in a few shots, but thanks to the shape of the bay behind it and the little bridges back there, we can tell that this is located on Isla Santuario, and so it may even be the first outpost that we need to take down in the game. Plus, if we again look at the aerial shot of Isla Santuario, we can even see the castle right here. So we can be confident that this is its exact location. And this long walk through a village? Well, this is actually a short tour right through the town that you can find Juan's El Bar in. In fact, you can even see the El Bar right at the end of the clip.
We're looking for a man named Juan Cortez.
I don't know the name. What does he look like?
Older, wears a fedora, dresses like a tourist, never stops fucking talking.
Sorry, senor. I have not seen him.
How about the Libertad Terrorista Clara Garcia?
No, never.
Papers. I don't have them on me, senora. The papers? That's a serious offense.
Disculpa. I must have left them at home.
I'm going to have to report you.
No, por favor, senora. There must be something I can do.
Look, there it is, right there. Next up is these MGS line tankers that Danny attacks in the Introducing Danny trailer. Normally boats would be pretty hard to find on a map, considering they're not normally very stationary objects, but thankfully in the wide shot of Isla Santuario, we can totally see them right there, blocking off the entrance to the bay. So what do you lot think? Have I made a glaring error in some of my more confident map placements? As always, let us know in the comments below, like and subscribe for more Far Cry 6 coverage and daily videos about video games here on Eurogamer. Head on over to our Instagram page @Team Eurogamer for all your behind the scenes goodness, and if you fancy some more Far Cry footage, why not click on one of the videos that are on screen right now and immerse yourself in some more of my far-fetched Far Cry theories. Goodbye!